With me today in the Patient Prism Studios is Dr. Barry Polansky. We're excited and delighted that he is here because he's been truly a mentor to many in this industry. He's written 3 amazing books, one of which was just published by Wiley in 2017. I finished reading it. And he really talks in his book about, the well-being of the dentist, right? And how important it is in light of one of the quotes I read on that was Vivek Murthy, who was the Surgeon General under Obama, had said that one of the most important crises in America today is the well-being of our physicians, and that includes everybody and dentists as well. So talk about that a little bit in terms of how important and why is it important why do we need to worry about the well-being of the dentist per se? Because we talk about patient well-being all the time.
Yeah, well, well-being today is the buzzword for what used to be called happiness. And happiness doesn't have a lot of meaning anymore, but well-being has a lot of meaning. And we can talk more about positive psychology in a while. But I had my burnout days also. My first 10 years in dentistry weren't a walk in the park. But you hear that from a lot of dentists, especially dentists who go out and speak. They tell you about their burnout days. Let me tell you what I did to make them better.
Sure.
Okay, all saints were sinners. Okay, we get that. So here's the thing. I was burnt out. Okay, and I would. It's not what I wanted. More new patients, more money, a nice car, or whatever.
Sure.
But I wasn't happy. You see, and so I sought more, and it wasn't until, and I tell in almost all of my books, I tell the story of it was when I got to the Pankey Institute,
Sure.
where I became familiar with the Pankey philosophy, that I learned that hey, there were dentists who felt the same way I did. Dr. Pankey was one, obviously.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I started to study the behavioral side of dentistry, and we start to learn about the Greeks and happiness, and then we go to Maslow and Carl Rogers. And today, if you read my book, I talk about Marty Seligman at University of Pennsylvania and positive psychology movement. But it really comes down to well-being, okay? And I wanted to basically, I became enamored with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, and so if you know what that is, from the base, which is people who live in survival. There are people who live in survival model their whole lives. They get to be my age and they're still living in survival. Okay, they never get to the next step, which is security. And then you begin to realize, just like Maslow had said, that you climb this ladder or this mountain. But sometimes you get stuck, okay,
In the middle of the mountain.
In the middle of the mountain, okay, and you can't get out of it. If you're lucky enough to get out of the base. And so I realized, the top of the mountain is self-actualization. Yeah, self-actualization. Okay, meaning. So what does that mean? Self-actualization. It means to be the best you can be. Well, Maslow described, and in my book I talk about human universals, talking about these are things that are present in every one of us. We all aspire to be the best we can be.
Sure.
You see? So it's just not a matter of when you're burnt out that the Porsche will do the trick. No, it won't do the trick.
It won't do the trick.
And so what happens is, as you mature, and that's another good word for climbing that mountain, as you mature, when you get up to the higher levels of belonging and self-esteem,
Sure.
and self-actualization. When
Sure.
you get up to the higher parts and you get what you truly need, a funny thing happens on the way to the forum. You get what you want. You see? And so by getting what you need, you end up getting what you want.
And even if you don't get, that's the thing, your needs shift, right? And your wants shift as well, because now you're having greater well-being in doing things that may not have been as meaningful before. So now the well-being of your patients, the well-being of your team members is now becoming more important than the well-being that you will or happiness that you will find by buying a car. So excellent point. I look forward to discussing more about this in our future segments.
Sure. Thanks, Amal.